Hi guys, welcome. So the first cake that we're doing is a chocolate cake with egg. So first I'm going to take you right through to the ingredients. Here are all of our ingredients, guys. So here first we have our 2.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder. We have 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. You can use vanilla essence, vanilla extract, whatever you have at hand. Here we have another 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Then we have another 40 grams of softened butter, not melted butter. This is really important. All right, softened butter is just one in which when you make this, when you touch it, you should get these kind of imprints on it. All right, you don't want it to be melted. Then after this we also have 3/4 cup of, this is just plain caster sugar. I've gotten granulated sugar, just turned it around in the mixie once, and here we have our powdered sugar or our caster sugar. Here we have 1 cup of plain flour. This is not self-raising flour, this is just some normal all-purpose flour. Then we have another 1/2 cup of milk and 1 egg. So guys, it's really important when you're baking that you have all of your ingredients at room temperature. So guys, this is one of those recipes which is just a one bowl recipe. It is super easy to do. So essentially we're just going to be doing everything in one bowl. I'm using a stand mixer. This is the KitchenAid stand mixer that I'm using. You guys can use just a normal hand mixer. You can even do this by hand. So let's get alright guys. So the first step is that we are going to pour all of our dry ingredients in the mixing bowl together. So I'm just going to take off the mixing bowl right here. So first I'm adding my flour. This is my 1 cup of flour. To this I'm going to add my sugar, my 3/4 cup of sugar. This is the caster sugar as I explained before. To this we're going to add our baking powder. So guys, all of these were pre-measured just to tell you. And then here, last but not the least, we have the most important ingredient, our cocoa. Alright, so after this guys, we're just going to put this back here. We're going to give this a good mix. So I'm just going to do this at like 1. So make sure that you guys don't do it at a very high speed, otherwise all your ingredients will fly around. So here I'm just giving it a mix, just that all of the dry ingredients are mixed together. Now again, you can do this with anything. If you guys don't want to use a mixer, you don't have to. You see, just mixing it a little bit here and there. Now I'm going to get this off. And see, you guys can also just do this by hand. Here you guys can either use a whisk to do this, or even a simple spoon will do. See how I'm just mixing my ingredients. I just want everything to be evenly distributed. And this is not difficult at all, right? Just get it all mixed out. We're evenly just distributing all of our ingredients. Yep, that's it. That's good enough. Here. Alright. So now to this we're going to add our softened butter. And when we add our softened butter over here, we're going to turn this around in the mixer, and we're going to mix it till we have a sand-like consistency. So I'm just going to do that now. And again guys, you can do this at like a low speed, because again you don't want all of the ingredients flying in your face. And if you guys don't have a mixer, or a hand mixer or a stand mixer, you guys can also now just work the butter through all of this using your hand. So guys, like this is the consistency that we're looking for. We're looking for a consistency which is just really sand like. And now here again, if your butter, this is how you would use your hands to do it. Just simply run it through the butter and spread it out. This is just for the benefit of everyone who has neither a stand mixer or a hand mixer. It's okay, it's not impossible to bake without it. I just recently bought mine as well, so don't worry about it. Here, I'm just going to mix it through. Right guys, so this is the consistency that we're looking for. Once you've reached this consistency, as I told you, this is just a single bowl recipe. I'm going to attach my bowl right back to my stand mixer. Now to this I'm going to add all of my wet ingredients. My wet ingredients are my milk, my vanilla essence, and lastly my egg. So just to make life easier for me, I'm just going to add my vanilla essence to my milk right here. Done. And I'm just going to add this entire mixture to my bowl. And at this time, as I told you, it's a one bowl recipe. I can also go on and add the egg. just make sure you have all of that. Alright. Now I'm again just going to mix all of this, and just remember guys, this is not going to take too much time. You guys can again use a hand mixer, stand mixer or a whisk. Alright guys, once you're done mixing it through, this is the kind of consistency you should have. It will be slightly lumpy like this, and that's alright. At this stage we're just going to add a little bit more of milk. You could even add water at this stage, but milk is just more pure, so that's what I'll be adding. Guys, here it is. I'm just going to be adding a little bit of milk, and then we're going to put this back on the stand mixer, and you guys will see what kind of final consistency we're looking for. This is about 3 tablespoons of milk that I've added at this stage, and this has happened because my egg was too small. You should use a large egg. That's really important for your recipe. Alright guys, look at this. See, this is just enough. This is all that we need. Our mixture is not going to be too thick. Here, let's just shake this off. This is the kind of consistency that it's going to have. It's going to be slightly thick, but that's exactly what we want. So what we're going to do at this stage is either we can pour all of this batter into a prepared pan. This would be enough for a 4-inch or a 6-inch pan, or either this would be enough to make around 8 cupcakes, even 12 depending on how much you pour in each container. And so at this stage it's scoopable. You can use an ice cream scooper to put this in as cupcakes, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is that you can put this into a prepared pan and you can straight away put it in the... Alright guys, so just to tell you what a prepared pan is. A prepared pan is essentially one in which you apply butter onto the pan and then you just dust it off with some flour. I'm just going to show you the end result of a prepared pan. So guys, this is what it should look like once you've applied the butter. Ensure that you've put the butter everywhere in the pan. This is important because only then the flour will stick. And a prepared pan helps you to get the cake out with ease once it has cooled down. Otherwise sometimes cakes stick and that's just a waste. So guys, it's super important. This is what your prepared pan should look like. If you see, I've covered all of the areas. Now you see all of this excess flour that is there. It's very important that you turn your pan around and you just dust this off. Just tap it. If you don't do this, what is going to happen is that you're going to have a white film on the outside of your cake, and that is not something that you want. Now the last step, I'm just going to pour all of my batter into my bowl. Alright guys, I now have my cake batter in my tin. I'm just going to shake it around a little bit, level it off a little bit. And guys, ensure that, especially when you're baking cakes which have egg in it, never overfill your pan. Your cakes will crack, and that's not a very pretty look on a cake, especially if you want to frost your cake afterwards. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this prepared tin with my cake batter in it into the oven. Now my oven has been heating since the time I started baking this cake, which has taken about 10 minutes to do. It has been preheating at the 180 mark, and also obviously ensure that your both of the grills of your oven are turned on, both the one above and the one at the bottom. Alright guys, make sure you wear an oven mitt, really important, don't want to burn yourself. I'm going to put this down onto the wire rack in my oven, and this is going to take about 35 to 40 minutes to bake, depending on your oven. Might take slightly more. Beyond the 40 minutes, check your oven every 5 minutes. And I'm just going to leave this to bake, and we'll see what the final result is. Alright guys, our cake is done. In my oven it took about 35 minutes, and as you guys can see, this cake has a slightly cracked top on it. Now that is because, as I told you, if you overfill the pan, that's what happens, and I did. So as I said, we're going to be learning from us. Alright guys, now for the second last step, which is going to completely cool down our cake, and we're doing this so that it unmolds. There you go guys, my cake has unmolded really well because I let it cool down and I prepared my pan well. Now at this stage you can eat it as is, or what I like to do is just slather a good amount of Nutella on top and make it. Guys, this is just me finishing off the final touches on my cake. Now the added bonus of putting the Nutella is, if you're giving this cake to someone else, they're never going to know that there were any cracks on the cake. Now because I love chocolate so much, I'm also going to sprinkle them with a little bit of chocolate chips here and there. Now at this stage, be as creative as you want. You guys can also add sprinkles, you guys can add whatever you want. Now the best step of all, you get to cut into the cake and have a slice. This has to be the absolute best part of it. Enjoy. See you guys next time.